I just wanted to show people something. You know, I can understand someone's fear of snakes because they are intimidating because they have no hands and feet, but they're really not bad animals at all. This is Opal, one of Tawny's babies I held back from a few years ago. And my snakes love being out. They're very social animals. And they enjoy being around people. Now, you know, it comes down to this. A first snake, if you want a snake that'll hang out with you and lay around with you, you're looking toward getting a ball python naturally because they're very mellow, chilled out snakes. Now, corn snakes make great first snakes too, but they're very active, very hyper, and they're always on the go. So some people may find that intimidating. Myself, I don't, because I know how snakes are. But yeah, see, they go constantly. I take them outdoors in the spring and summer, and I have quite a task trying to keep up with these guys outdoors. But yeah, this is Opal, one of Tawny's holdbacks that I kept, because she's such a good girl and she's so beautiful. But if you're going to get a snake, whatever you decide to get, don't start out with a big constrictor because it really requires a lot of patience with them sometimes. You got to consider their girth. You got each snake is different. I know what I'm trying to say, but it's early in the day and I'm not very awake yet. But Opal was begging to come out, so I brought her out for a little while. But these guys very seldom sit still for long. They're just very active snakes. But, you know, whatever snake you get, be sure you're prepared to give it a good home. You're prepared to give it all of the needs it requires. You know, don't just get a snake on a whim and think everything's going to be easy and fine and dandy, because it's not easy. If you're good with your animals and you love them and you're responsible for them, you spend a lot of time with them. You clean up after them constantly. You make sure they're fed properly. Myself, most of my days are dedicated to working with my snakes because I have very social snakes. Very people-friendly animals. So I don't have a lot of free time because between taking care of their enclosures and them, and investing time with them, my days are booked solid, and sometimes half the night I'm up taking care of them. Opal, what are you? But like I said, these guys just very seldom sit still. So if that intimidates you because they're active, a corn snake isn't the snake you want to get as a first snake. Now, on the other hand, you get a ball python. They're picky eaters most times, and they quite often have bad sheds. You can give them a perfect environment, and if they refuse to thermoregulate, which means going from their warm end to their cool end to adjust their core temps, then you're going to end up with ball pythons with bad sheds, because ball pythons are generally pretty lazy snakes. Now, corn snakes, on the other hand, are never lazy. They're always on the go. So they're actually very good about thermoregulating their body temps, whereas a ball python usually isn't that great at it. But if you want to, you know, it's up to you what you think you'd be most comfortable with. Now, ball python, mine will sit back with me for hours and watch TV with me. Are you going to come out, or are you going to stay in there all day? But yeah, they'll sit with me for hours watching television. A corn snake is just not going to happen. They want to be on the go constantly. Very active animals. But they're good-natured. They're no different than any other snake. Ball pythons are very calm, mellow snakes. Opal, do you know what you're doing? See, I'm going to come out and look for trouble. That's what I'm doing. Sorry, I'm moving the camera around so much she won't stay still long enough to get anything on her. Here, what do you say we do this? Let's move this plastic tote out of the way and let you roam around on the bed. Follow, get lost. There. Want to roam around a little bit? But these are like 5 feet long, and these are Tawny's babies. I held back 2 of them. I have one male and one female for future breeding projects. But as you can see, they never sit still. Corn snakes don't sit still. Now, ball pythons, they're very lazy. They love to lay around. They're curious. They'll look into things and check things out just like a corn snake will, but at a much slower pace. Opal, sit still for a minute. And even as sleek as she is, she's hard to hold back if she wants to go somewhere. These are all things you need to consider before you get a snake. I've seen people that got a big constrictor for their first snake. Myself, I don't advise it. But you're talking about working with a snake that has a really strong strike response, a snake that has a lot of body weight, a lot of muscular content. That is, if your snake's active. But if you let them just lay around all the time, they're not as muscular as a snake would be that's out and about all the time, getting exercise, hanging out with people. You stay over here, Apollo, I'll head bop you. I don't want anybody booping your snoot today. No, you stay over here. Stay away from Apollo. There, he left. We're good. I have to watch him near the edge of the bed, though, because he'll try to get her if she goes to the edge of the bed. But she's only 4 years old. Opal is. I wish you'd stay still for 2 minutes. Wiggle worm. I call them my wiggle worms. But yeah, you know, it's your choice which one you decide to get. You can have problems with any snake if you don't take proper care of it. So there are no exceptions to that rule. But before you get a big constrictor, you really should start with a smaller snake so you can better understand their body language and observe them. You can better know what they need to be content, healthy, thriving animals. I just want to make a little video because I brought Opal out and I haven't had her out in a while. So I just, you know, it's a topic I get asked about a lot. What would be a great first snake? Honestly, if you can do research and work with the iffy sheds and the picky feeding habits, a ball python is more laid back. And I think someone that's new to snakes that maybe previously was afraid of them, a less active snake would intimidate a person a lot less than a really active snake would, like a corn snake. But these guys, I've never had a corn snake refuse a meal. I've never had a corn snake give me a bad shed, unlike ball pythons do. So, you know, it's a matter of personal choice. Just be sure it's the right choice for you and for the animal. That's all I really wanted to say, is that I've seen people just, oh, I want that, and grab it and buy it. You can't do that. These are living, thriving animals. They have needs. You have to be totally responsible for them because you are responsible for their health and their lives. I just lost my big girl, Nosey. It was almost 20 years old. It's really hard to do when you bond with these animals. You love them just like you would a kid. You love them just like anybody would their cat or dog. They're no different. See what I mean? They never stop going. Okay, I'm going to pen you down now. That's enough. You stop for a few minutes. Thank you. But regardless of what snake you get, you always have to have control of them for their sake, for safety reasons, because they aren't smart enough to stay out of trouble. Trust me, they can get in some pretty strange predicaments because they're very curious and nosy animals. They've got to check everything out. So that's a big plus with raising a snake, is being responsible for them.